Essentials webinar. My name is Dan Ba, and I am a precision business planning specialist at AgSolver. Today we will be covering creating field boundaries in Profit Zone Manager. Our agenda for today is creating field boundaries from harvest yield data in AgLeader's SMS software, exporting field boundaries as a shapefile in AgLeader's SMS software, creating fields in Profit Zone Manager, uploading compressed zip shapefile of field boundaries to Profit Zone Manager, and creating fields in Profit Zone Manager, and then finally manually drawing and editing field boundaries in Profit Zone Manager today. We will be in Q&A mode, so if you have any questions, please type them in at the bottom of the chat screen. You can see my contact information. We have my email and then cell phone number below. Now what we'll first do is go into AgLeader's SMS software. And what we're going to do, we're going to create a field boundary based off of last year's grain harvest. So the first thing, we're going to right click on our grain harvest to pull up our list here. Next, we're going to select trace boundary. And now what we are doing, we are tracing a field boundary based off of that harvest data. So this will clip out the waterways in the field and everything like that. Next, what we're going to do, we're going to click on all. So now we have our field boundary. We're going to left click on that, scroll down to export at the bottom, and then we're going to export to a generic file format. Start be in a shapefile format, and then export file to selected format. And then I have a folder on my desktop. We'll scroll down, and that is labeled SMS yield shapefile data. And for this, we're going to label this James field boundary. And then click save. Then we'll go to that folder on our desktop. See if it has come through yet. Go and re-export this field. Export. Shapefile, export to selected file format. James field boundary. And go to our file that we have. Now our file has come through. We'll select the dbf.prj.shp and .shx. Select all of those. Left click, send to compressed zip folder. Now we've created a compressed zip folder of our shapefile that we exported out of SMS. Next thing that we're going to do, we're going to add a field in Profit Zone Manager. Label this field James for field name. And then we're going to browse for field boundaries. Go to our desktop. Scroll down to our SMS yield shapefile data folder. Select that. Scroll down to our James field boundary. Click open. And then click next. Whoop. We'll create the field again. Add field, James, field boundary, open, uploading field boundary. Now I'm going to check, make sure we have all of those 4 files within our zip file. We're going to close out of this for being. We'll go back to our, we're going to delete these files and then re-export this field again. And actually what we'll do, we'll make a shapefile off of another field. Instead of the James, we'll go and create one based off the Ritchie farm. So export as a shapefile. Ritchie field boundary. Select all 4 files again. And Profit Zone Manager. Add field. Ritchie for the field name. Browse. Click on the Ritchie field boundary. And click next. And now we have successfully uploaded a field boundary. What was going on in the James field? There was something wrong with the shape file, so I will look into that later on. But that's how we upload a shape file, export it out of SMS, and upload that into Profit Zone Manager. The next field that we're going to create is we're going to manually draw a field boundary in Profit Zone Manager. So we'll name this field Home Field North Small. Next, we're going to click Next. Now we get a message that says draw your field boundaries using the drawing tools on the left side of the map. Complete the field boundaries by connecting the last point drawn to the first point drawn on the map. Close that. Search for our field. And the field that we will be drawing is just north of the house. We have our drawing tools populated on the top left-hand corner of the map. The first tool that we have is a measuring stick where we can measure distance. Next, we can use the search function. And then third, we have our polygon drawing tool. So we're going to go ahead and select on our polygon drawing tools and then just start placing points around the field. And say you accidentally put a point where you don't want a point to be, you can just delete the last point and keep drawing your field boundaries. We'll close off and then connect our last point to our first point drawn. Now we'll get a message saying, have you completed your field boundaries? If a field boundary is completed, click yes. If there are additional field boundaries to be drawn, click keep drawing. This is where you can click on keep drawing. If you draw, say on one side of the waterway, that polygon, and there's another portion of the field south of the waterway, you can keep drawing that. But since this is just one field, we're going to go ahead and click yes that we've completed drawing our field boundaries. Now we have successfully created a field boundary by drawing. Next, what we can do, we can edit field boundaries. So right next to the field name, we have an options drop-down menu, and at the bottom we have a option to edit field boundaries. We're going to go ahead and click that, and then we'll get the same drawing message. Draw your field boundaries using the tools on the left-hand side of the map. Complete your field boundaries by connecting the last point drawn to the first point drawn on the map. We're going to go ahead and close that. And right underneath our polygon drawing tool now, we have a field editing button. So say we have all of our points that we've drawn on this map. We can simply just move these points around to edit our field boundary. And then once we're done editing, we can go ahead and click save. And then we'll get our have you completed our field boundaries message again. We can click yes. So editing field boundaries is simple and it's easy. And so now I would like to open up for questions if there is any. If there is been asked if I have yield data in my and I edit my field boundaries, what happens to my data? So when we edit our field boundaries, your yield data and your profit maps will be clipped. So you'll just show a representative yield in that area, and then so on and so forth. And we can come into another field. So say we want to edit field boundaries in the Lincoln field where we have machine data uploaded. So we come in and say we want to take out this extreme northeast corner of the field. We can come in, edit field boundaries. We'll have our editing button come up. We're going to click close. We'll click on our edit layers drawing tool, scroll in, and then we're going to simply take this acreage out of production by dropping the points. and then click Save. So and that's how we edit field boundaries within Profit Zone Manager. Your data will reprocess. And so you do not have to upload data again within Profit Zone Manager. We'll go on the currents field again. So the system does it all automatically. So just simply redraw your field boundaries. The Profit Zone Manager program will reprocess the data, and then it will come back with clipped field boundaries. So I want to invite everyone to our next webinar at 11 o'clock, and that is our intermediate planning webinar, and we'll be covering do row shutoffs pay. We will be reviewing one of our fields that we had in 2014, where we were trying to decide whether we should make the upgrades to our planner or shouldn't we, based off of the information provided in Profit Zone Manager. I also want to mention one other thing, that on June 1st, our next PZM Essentials webinar, we will be uploading raw harvest data and exporting to created fields. So whereas last week's webinar we were uploading yield data and as applied planning data to our DB inbox page, now we're going to be uploading to our machine data page and then exporting to the representative fields. I want to thank everyone for joining today's webinar, and have a good afternoon. Bye.